guys, today we're talking about BMW reliability. Now, I get this question over and over and over and over again, just nonstop on the channel. Can I go buy this BMW? Will it be reliable? Well, there's two different answers to that, yes and no. It just all depends on the car. BMWs take a little more maintenance than usual. We see a lot of stuff, and you can't really judge by the stuff I'm getting here. The stuff I buy here for the channel is broken, right? It has to be broken so we can make videos on it. I can't go buy something brand new. It's not gonna make sense. So you see the worst of the worst come through here. There's no doubt about that. And I aim at buying cars that are known to be bad, right? Like the M5. Now, a lot of you guys want to buy E90s. A lot of you guys want to buy E60s, F30 and 3 Series, things like that. Now, it all goes back to the original owner, right? Maybe even the second owner. Did they do the required maintenance when they're supposed to do it? The answer is no, they didn't. There's no question. They didn't, right? Then once it gets to be 100,000 miles in the car, close to 100,000 miles in the car, they start to have a little bit of issue. Take it to the shop says, or the dealer or whatever, says, oh, you gotta have this, this, and this done. Well, that person says, well, I'm not gonna spend money on this car, I'll just go buy another car. So they sell it or trade it in and so forth. Well, that's fine. That puts a lot of BMWs in the market at about 100,000 miles when the water pump's due, when the control arms are due, when you start having a little bit of Vanos issue, you have to do all the maintenance, right? Then the next guy buys it. The second person down the chain buys it, and they just drive it till it just won't move. The second or the third person, right? I'm sorry to say, that's just the way it happens. It's not just America, it's worldwide that happens. Like, that's the thing, right? Use it and abuse it and throw it away. And we get the mentality as human beings from manufacturers putting out cheap cars, right? Your Chevy Cobalts, your Ford Escort stuff, I don't know, there's 1,000 of them, right? Dodge Neon, Dodge Dart, all the little throwaway cars. That's how you treat those cars. If they get 100,000+ miles on them, they're throwaway. You can fix them, why would you want to? They're not worth anything. So that carries over into the more expensive cars, and that's kind of the whole chain of events. Now the second thing is, somebody tried to take care of it, took it to a shop, and the shop just made a train wreck out of the car. And 9 times out of 10 when we get things in here, there's 2 things we have to deal with: neglect and incompetence as far as mechanics and other shops working on stuff, or the owner working on stuff. Usually it's an Indian mechanic, 9 times out of 10. All right, so then we're not only trying to combat what should have been replaced 50,000 miles ago and wasn't, then you're also trying to combat who's rigged up what on the car, and who's rigged up what on the car, who has done bad things to the car, is starting to far outweigh what maintenance was due that didn't get done, if that makes any sense. The M5 is known to be one of the worst BMWs in the world. Is it really? No. No, it's not. Not in the least bit. It is one of the more expensive cars because it uses particular engine parts that are particular only to that car, only that engine. And there's 10 of everything. It's a V10. So that, it's more expensive because it's a V10, right? The rod bearings, that wasn't a very expensive job. If you have to pay somebody to do it, it's a couple $1,000s at least, $2,000 to $3,000 here. But it's like a $600 job if you do it yourself, right? So as a grand scheme of things, a lot of you guys will pay $600 for a window regulator in your Chevy to have someone actually put it in, buy it and put it in. So that's kind of the run. Actually, some of you pay $1,000 to have a window regulator fixed. On these cars, you could buy that for $20 and put it in yourself. That's kind of what we're looking at. Is it really more expensive? Only if you don't have any idea what you're doing, you have to rely on somebody else. If you're willing to take on these small jobs and you have some basic tools and you at the minimum have a good jack stand, you can pretty much fix about any BMW. If you're willing to stop what you're doing, don't just think you know, go look it up on the internet and figure out how to do it. If you do that, you can own any car, any Audi, any BMW, any Mercedes. Overall, you can fix that stuff. Now, when it comes to software, especially with the M cars, you have to have BMW software, the ISTA. You have to. Like, on some cars, you can BS not having that. You can't BS not having it on this. You have to have that. No, a snap-on scanner is light years away from doing what you need to do with this. That all being said, what we're finding out lately, do things just fail module-wise on these cars? On an E90, yes. On the rest of the cars, no, actually. You have your occasional Bluetooth module that fails. I haven't even really seen that. Usually you could fix that. You know, on E90 we have a lot of the JBE, the junction box has issues. You have steering lock problems and things like that. As far as E60, as long as you don't let rainwater flood the ECU or rainwater on the pre-LCI models get in the trunk and flood out the microcontrol module. Overall, these cars don't have a lot of horrific problems, right? Now, if somebody's hooked something up wrong, then they're fiddling with stuff, or you buy the car and it's just missing a module, somebody's just taking it out. We've seen that before. That's a problem. That's a really bad problem because your average BMW mechanic is not going to be able to help you fix that at all. Just not. So, in conclusion, BMW did some dirty tricks, right? No doubt with this software, trying to make you have the software, but now all manufacturers are doing that, all of them. So if you have a beloved Chevy, well, you say this will never happen to me. If you have a newer Chevy, it will happen to you. It is happening to you more likely. The situation of that is, that has a lot cheaper electronics in it, a lot more sensitive electronics in it, and it's gonna happen more often as the car gets older. It is what it is, right? So if you want these kind of cars, should you go buy one? Yes and no. Depends on you. Depends on what you know. Depends on what you want to learn. If you're 16 years old, you have to depend on this as your only car, and you want to go buy E60 M5? No. If you're 16 years old, you want to go buy E90, but it runs fine, but you don't have the software to scan to see if it's fine, don't buy that car. That's going to be a real bad time for you. A video coming up pretty soon of just that, showing in Chicago, one of our good friends just went through trying to buy E90, and you'd be horrified what he found and all the stuff that ISTA helped him with of not buying a car that had down modules. So there is that. We'll be showing you a little more of that coming up very shortly. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a good day.